It would be weird. It would be kind of neat to see like an adaptation of like the original novel to that. Like nowadays, if they redid it, they would have to cast someone good. Have to be like a scrawny little guy, but it would be pretty cool to see like them do the actual novel. It's very different. It's like cross country and stuff. Well, the end. I don't think they would be able to get away with the ending because they fly a plane into a building. But
right.
Yeah, you never know, right?
But talk about Total Recall, the role of Richter. We have Michael Ironside in the film. Robert Davi was considered for that. So
definitely a good actor.
A lot of interesting information there. But now we can talk about Van Damme as Predator. That never happened. I think Van Damme would like to deny it nowadays.
There's some clips of that on the internet, isn't there? With him in a suit, like going all rubbery.
Yeah.
Shooting his Pez dispenser thing.
The bug light, whatever the hell it was.
The praying mantis.
Yeah.
Van Mantis.
It looked like shit.
Van Mantis. That would have been horrible.
That would have been huge, though, if you think about it. If Van Damme had stuck to it, he would have said, "Okay, my career started off in Predator."
Mm-hmm.
But with that shitty-looking suit, it was just not going to happen. And I think, did he quit because he was complaining?
Yeah, like he had beef with people on the set with like Carl Weathers or something. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But I know he had beef with somebody.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
He probably complained it was too hot. The jump was too hot.
He wanted orange juice. Or especially squeezed orange juice.
That would have been weird. But, talking about First Blood, Stallone hating the first cut of the film and trying to destroy it. Which you might know something about that.
After everything I've seen, I can say that without that dialogue, like how he was complaining about his dialogue, like he had all these stupid one-liners. If they would have just cut out the one-liners and kept everything else in, I don't see the problem. The biggest difference would have been the middle, right? The hunting montage is would have been almost an hour long when he's running around in the woods chasing them down.
Mm-hmm.
And from the notes I saw that Stephen Chang gave me these notes, and it has a half an hour of stuff before you even see First Blood on the screen. There's Rambo being captured, Rambo being tortured. They talk about Rambo, they talk about how he's this unstoppable thing. And there's all this pre-mission stuff that goes back to Vietnam, and they have a crucifixion scene and everything. I would love to see a cut of that. If Stallone doesn't give us Rambo 5, at least go back and give us all the original cuts of the movies, because Rambo 2 had the Halo jump scene that they took out that was only on TV, right? The POV shot of him coming down into the jungle with the parachute. And Rambo 3 has a shitload of scenes. And so does Rambo 4. They could just give us a whole new box set, because I would love to see that 3-hour cut. I got a 2-hour 15-minute cut of it, but I would love to see a 3-hour cut.
I've never seen that other cut.
Well,
50 minutes? Wow.
Yeah, 2 hours. It's 2:15. Michael Chapman.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy out of London makes these fan edits. I can ask him if he can send you one. It's got all the Hrvatia footage, and it's got all the deleted scenes from the DVD.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool. It has Rambo switching out bullets before the sewing scenes, checking bullets and stuff, and it's got a bunch of teasel scenes, a couple of more credit scenes. There's one I wish they would have kept in with Krenna talking to Teasel when they're in that little tent thing, and he's like, "That boy's a heart attack. You know, that boy will kill you." I wish they would have kept some of that in, but you can see some of that on the TV, the televised print.
Okay. Because I know around this time they considered other actors for the role. I mean, they wanted Al Pacino, Nick Nolte, Robert De Niro, Clint Eastwood, and I had to look this up, but back in 1977, they had a script, and it was supposed to be directed by John Badham, and I think around the time he was doing Saturday Night Fever, and it was supposed to star John Travolta, but he couldn't get it financed.
Real enough, I think, wasn't John Travolta their thing of having Rambo 2 or 3? I guess his buddy.
2. Yeah, that would have been cool too. That script is amazing. The James Cameron script. Yeah, James Cameron script for that.
2 then, okay.
And Travolta has some amazing lines in that one. Amazing, like that would have been something to see.
I think that's because Stallone had worked with John Travolta on Staying Alive, so brings Travolta onto that.
You think something bad happened between them or something?
I have to assume maybe Stallone thought, no, have the one-man army. So if that's that right, like Rambo 3, I think worst case is Troutman because it's someone that we've seen in the first 2 movies, and I think that really works. But maybe for the second film, he's like, well, that Rambo's just sort of a solo guy. I mean, it makes sense because he would have been in prison, and then just send it's that sort of lone man who was then left behind, and because I think at that time you didn't really see too many one-man army type of things, and of course that was the same time Commando was coming out, and maybe that was another thing too. It's like I gotta, Schwarzenegger's gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna show him up before that movie comes out. Then you have 2 classics.
Oh yeah, and it's weird because Rambo would have came off more like a babysitter. Because when you look at how they wanted to do it, Travolta was like the comedy sidekick in a way. Like he had lines like Rambo would be like every time John Travolta screws up, Rambo's like, "That's 1, that's 2." And at one point they're whipping John Travolta with like a strip from a tire, like they cut off a tire strip and they're whipping him. And they're like, "You're gonna tell us whatever," and he's like, "No, because that would be 3." And he makes some Star Wars jokes to the POWs and stuff.
That's kind of like I Come in Peace. That's 1.
Yeah. It's weird.
Team sucks.
Because Rambo 3 was also totally just 2 different versions of Rambo 3 that they were going to make before that, and that was totally different too. Like, I'd say it's weird, like Rambo 3, how they have like Rambo rescues Troutman. He would have done it the first time, and the whole second half of the movie was like a big chase like First Blood. And all the kills were different. There was no Kura fight. They become kind of like comrades at the end. It was very different. There was a lot more characters.
Well, speaking of Rambo 3, the character Troutman, Lee Marvin was considered. That would have been interesting, but...
And Kirk Douglas, who wanted to kill Rambo.
Yeah, what's the story behind that?
Well, the funny thing is on the interview, Stallone mentions that afterwards, Kirk Douglas would come up to him and said, I think artistically I was right and Rambo should have died, but if you listen to me, you would not have made millions and millions of dollars. So, there you go. Because Kirk Douglas wanted to be the guy that's, ended Rambo's reign of terror, however you want to call it. And then, of course, there's that deleted scene with Troutman shooting Rambo, and no, Rambo must live. Which I'm glad they did, because I love the Rambo films.
Yeah.
But,
it would have been...
That would have been different, definitely.
It would have been cool to see, like, the original Rambo 3, the South America one. David Morrell wrote a script. It was weird, like, I read a part of it in the novelization for Rambo 3. He has this, like, foreword in the beginning of the book that talks about it a bit. So I got to ask him about it later on, but Rambo would have been working New York high-rise buildings, like construction, and because of his native background, apparently in those days, a lot of construction people would hire Native Americans because they had, they would succumb less to altitude sickness. They were good at high altitudes. So Rambo would have been introduced like high above the city, kind of looking down and stuff. And then Troutman had this thing at the UN. He had to go there as an ambassador. And these extremist terrorists take over the embassy and they take his daughter, and he's like pretty fatally wounded. And then Rambo ends up meeting up with his wife, and Troutman taught her how to use automatic weapons and everything. So she's like, at one point she's like, Rambo and her running down a corridor, and there's like explosions going on behind them, and they're like gunning down the bad guys. And it would have been cool to see like a Sigourney Weaver-esque kind of like Troutman's wife, you know? It would have been cool to see. But I'm glad we got the movie we got, even though they scrapped 50 or 60% of it.
But moving on to Die Hard, which was a lot of interesting stuff here too. I mean, originally it was started as a sequel to Commando. Fox had commissioned the writer of Commando, the same writer, to write the sequel, which he completed, and it was inspired by another story called Nothing Lasts Forever, which resembles a Die Hard plot. And I think, from what I've read, it was a project for Clint Eastwood in the early 80s. But I think at the time, when Arnold had did Commando, and he felt he didn't want to repeat himself. And he was gearing up for Predator at the time and The Running Man, and Fox was able to salvage the story. So then it became Die Hard.
Which is also a remake of The Detective with Frank Sinatra, which kind of makes me wonder how they're going to do this new one. Because wouldn't you just remake The Detective? You wouldn't do Die Hard in the 70s? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's not going to work.
No.
It's a shitty idea in this Hollywood, so of course.
It's weird too, because when you watch like the trailer and stuff for The Detective, Frank Sinatra comes off a lot like Bruce Willis. It's really weird. So you wonder if Bruce Willis kind of tapped into Frank Sinatra's character. It's weird.
Knew about it.
Yeah, and that was based on the Nothing Lasts Forever novel.
But I think for the role of John McClane, they considered Don Johnson and Richard Dean Anderson.
Wow, that would have been different.
You mentioned MacGyver as John McClane. and
I'm gonna cook you, fucking eat you.
They wanted Charles Bronson, but he was under contract for Canada. But I still would have liked to have seen Commando 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one movie that they should do now. Like, Arnold really needs to do a movie like that now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, considering the success of movies like The First Taken, John Wick, and such, people would like to see that, but I mean, what do I know?
Well, now he's to be rumored to join the next Predator film.
Yeah.
I thought it was Conan.
I guess I think he's still doing Conan, but Shane Black is talking about, we're going to try to bring back Arnold for the next Predator film in some capacity.
For what? Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? What is it?
I'm just betting right here it's a reboot.
Oh, God.
There's a script from the 90s that...
No, it's Shane Black. I think he's directing, and Fred Decker's writing the script.
Yeah.
And they've already released a teaser image.
Yeah.
Yeah. Called The Predator.